Happy Sunday. I wanted to do, moving my notes over here, my weekly recap for what's been going on, what I've seen this week, all the fun and frivolity, things that I think we could do a little bit better. I know I can do better, and just some things to be aware of. So, with that, let's start off with key fobs. You're going to want to make sure that you are including that in the contract. It does say the seller is supposed to provide everything in this new contract, but with that, over clarification is never going to be a bad thing. So, you can fill this out in both. RPA 7E is where it's clarified that the seller is to provide the key fobs. Buyer may have to provide a deposit to the HOA, depending on if it's for the pool or any of the rec areas. But you can also add in RPA 3P where you're outlining the stove, the fridge, the washer, dryer. Go ahead and put the key fobs on there too. If you have any questions whatsoever all about it, I would over communicate versus under. Making assumptions aren't going to work very well. Do you have an unwell or older seller? They unfortunately we had somebody pass this week on a transaction. We had started it with power of attorney. We now have to wait for probate to go through, and so the more you can be prepared and have what could be an uncomfortable conversation but yet sets up a game plan really is helping benefit your clients and letting them know you're thinking ahead and that we'll have contingencies in place if things happen. I'm going to send you this really great video from Keeping Current Matters. It was about the spring market. Right now it's projected for a 9.6 appreciation. Yes. And that is predicted this year, as well as most homes will appreciate over $130,000 that are purchased today by 2027. That's insane. This is amazing. So with all the information out there about costs and people freaking out about rates going up, these might be a couple of key points that can help you with your clients. It's still an amazing time to get in. Let's see. Cancellation of contract. I'm teaching a webinar. That's going to be in my glasses. That's not good. I'm teaching a webinar tomorrow about cancellation of contract, reminders of who can cancel when, what steps you need to take, notice performed, demand to close escrow. You need to sign both portions of the cancellation contract. Top is for cancellation contract, bottom is for the deposit. I'll send that link out to everybody as soon as that's available. Please include the property somewhere in every single communication. So I don't even need the address. I just need the street name. A lot of stuff's coming over, and many of you have multiple files right now. Good job. Awesome. Congratulations. With that, we need even more clarity to go through on things. It helps to really make sure everybody can search for it. For me, for the lender, for escrow title. Again, the only constant is a property address in a transaction, so as much of that info as possible is great. All these reminders you're getting about the AVID. Well, one, I love you all desperately, but I know this is not your favorite thing to do. Two, I don't check it into the system until it's a fully executed document. It's kind of one of my fail-safes to keep ticklers going. If you see it come up, you know you've given it to me. You can ignore it, email me for clarification. But just know there are multiple reminders on the AVID because I know how it is so not the agent's favorite thing to do. My TC fee. I need to know who's paying my fee as soon as possible so I can properly bill to escrow. If I don't have any documentation from you, I'm going to assume you're paying it. Now remember, you're not party to the contract, which means my fee should not be in the contract because this is a discussion between you and your client. What you can do is put it in the residential listing agreement, or you can do a buyer broker exclusive or buyer broker open, just something that shows that it actually had been disclosed to your client prior to going under contract. Then we don't have any RESPA issues whatsoever. We can make sure it was fully communicated. I can send the documentation to escrow. We make sure the lender knows. I've got to let them know as soon as possible because they have to let the lender know. And it needs to be on their fees if it's not going to be under your fee. So we need to start clarifying that if we could. Another thing, when we're opening escrows, you, me, whoever's opening the escrow, if you can include the number of days the escrow is, if it's a 14-day, if it's a 10-day, 30-day, just quick little note somewhere in the beginning opening email that really helps me, the lender, title, escrow, everybody who's peripheral, because we're trying to make sure that we're figuring out our pipeline, and I'm always based off of closing date. That's going to be my priority, make sure everything's in order before closing date. So the sooner I know, the sooner I can get you in the pipeline correctly and we make sure things are addressed. And the LBSB, loan broker, sales broker, if anybody is doing where your brokerage, not just you, but your brokerage, anybody under that same broker has both, we got to have the LBSB, and it has to be signed and disclosed to your buyer within 24 hours of them saying, yes, please, I want you to do the loan, as well as be my agent. That's a document that is civil code required. and I can send you the links for that. I'm going to include it in this email that I'm sending off. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, just give me a quick message and I will send you over the forms from CAR so you can see them as well. Paper copies. I have done more paper copies in the past few weeks, months than I think I have in years. Please let me know the second you are dealing with a client who is going to be all hard copies. I can have them picked up. I can have them delivered to you. I will highlight them. I will prep them. I will scan them. It does take longer. And also we have to prep and make sure getting things, because I want to limit how many times we have to go back to the client. It can affect our time frames if things are incorrect. So we really need to be on top of those. And if there's any way to avoid that, I highly recommend it, because we're also used to such quick responses and not driving around and all of that fun stuff. So there are solutions. I will say, though, moving forward as of April 1st, any paper copies will be an additional $50 fee. That also goes for if you need a paper copy at the end of the file. If you have a client who wants a hard copy, I can do it. I'm not set up to start that way. So if I know, if you tell me and let me know, I can make sure I'm printing things as we go, and then I can have everything ready to go the way I have the files ready at close. It really helps me, helps get everything ready. I think those are some of the fun things I've seen. I am including 2 handouts from CAR. One was about the entities, the way I've always been adamant about the RCSD and asking for the actual trust certificate from the trust versus what we get from escrow. Thing is, the one from escrow is filled out by the signer on behalf of the entity. So I sign, "Hi, I'm Sam Hayes. I'm Queen of England," and I write down, "I'm the Queen of England," and the notary notarizes my name only, that I showed him an ID that I'm Samantha Hayes. They are not notarizing, "Oh, and here's her decree that she's the Queen of England." So that's why that form is not what we want. We actually need something that shows and gives signing authority. That doesn't. What that's doing is that signer is just clarifying what they think is their signing authority. Kind of a problem. And I have had a file where it's been a problem. We had a second trustee signer on title, found out last minute they didn't sign everything on file, no matter how much I pushed. And now that escrow company doesn't talk to me, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, the other one is on the SB9 and the ADUs. So I'm going to go ahead and include those for you. Let me know what I can do to help. I look forward to working with you as always. I'm in town all week. I'll be here. I'll get you the links to that class. I'm also going to do a meeting with E&O for TC specifically, because I carry my E&O with Crest, and the benefits of why that benefits you. And so I'll have some more information on that next week. Something you want to hear about, something you have questions on, call me anytime. 619-993-7264. Have a great day. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.